Hey guys, it's Jacqueline over here at Homeschool Hangout.xyz, and today we're talking about 5 tips for the homeschooling mom and dad. If you like these kinds of videos, do me a favor, thumbs up, like, subscribe, sign up for my mailing list, buy me a coffee, whatever. There's links in the bottom, and let's get into it. So today I'm talking about 5 tips for homeschooling parents, grandparents, whoever's doing the homeschooling that might help bring a little peace and calm and sanity to your life. And these are just 5 ideas and 5 tips, so don't take them too seriously if they don't work for you. I guess that's what I'm really saying. So the first one, create a schedule or routine. Now, what I mean about this is not schedule every minute of your day. Not at all. Homeschooling can be overwhelming and you often feel like you're not getting to all the important things. So if you start creating some sort of routine or schedule where you kind of block out Monday morning, well, do these things, go these places, maybe hit these subjects, it kind of gives you a framework to work it. So one of the things I really say though is leaving a lot of white space in case things have to move because life's crazy. And to me, that gives me a freedom. And why do I say that? If I know that I wash my towels twice a week and I don't get to it one day in the week, I know that I have another day I'll get to it, or I'll get to something next week. In our house, we have a couple cleaning days where the bathrooms get cleaned. And if life gets really crazy, that day will come around next week. You don't have to stress over skipping over it. The same thing goes with subjects. If you're hitting history 3 days a week and you're busy that day or you just don't feel like it, it's not like you're like, but if I don't do it today, when am I ever going to do it? So that routine can kind of, one, help you see what time you actually have. So if you're trying to shove too many things into your schedule, it'll kind of, be a red flag of, but I had 45 things I wanted to do. So that helps. But also it helps you to kind of place the important things on your schedule and let the rest of it just kind of fit around it or melt away. And on that schedule, remember, you need to do things like, yes, times for learning, but also times for breaks, times for cleaning your house, times for running errands, times for extracurricular activities, not just lessons like, let's say, choir or sports, but also like, oh, I want to have a park day once a month. I want to, go to coffee with friends once a month. We want to have a play date at somebody's house. Or I know for myself and some other people I know, Fridays were our days. Friday is going to be a day we plan to do something else. So we don't have any school. And it's just really can be a schedule or more of a routine. Friday's fun day, or, Friday afternoons, or whatever that is that works for your family. Something else is actually to prioritize self-care. I know self-care is a buzzword and gets a lot of flack. And I'm not talking about going out and buying yourself, solid gold purses or anything. I'm talking about things that bring you joy, but things that help you to relax and stay balanced and everything else. And I have notes here. So like you're exercising. If that's something I often neglect, if you can't tell by looking at me. But those things that bring you sanity. For me, I have a morning routine, and that morning routine often includes walking with my husband, but it also includes things like my Bible verses, or I'm working on German. A bunch of us in the family are all doing German together on Duolingo. So I do German every day. It's silly, it's ridiculous, but it helps like get my brain firing in the morning. I also include time where I put on makeup. It's not a lot of time, but it's things that make me feel better. And I don't mean like prideful. I mean like pulled together, like I can take on anything that comes at me. So that kind of self-care is important. It's also important, just to, breathe. Just if that is 5 minutes alone, if that's singing in the shower, if that's taking the time to put on lotion, whatever that is. I'm not talking about decadence and face masks will fix your world. I'm just talking about whatever that is that's important to you. Remember to put it on your schedule and take that time for yourself. The next one kind of goes with it, and it's don't try to do it all alone. And when I say that, homeschooling can be really isolating. And when my kids were really little, we were at church like 4 days a week. And we were doing like MOPS, mothers of preschoolers. I was doing a Bible study. The kids were in Awana when they were really little, because that's what you do. You have play dates, you have all that stuff. But as they got a little older and needed more time at home, I started cutting out stuff. And it can be kind of isolating. So don't do that. Seek out other homeschool families, online, in person, play dates, co-ops. It's okay to, put them in lessons. Like, we had our kids in a choir, and like, I'm a giant science nerd, but my kids had the best science teacher, and we paid for that every semester, and they enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the break. So it gave them time to, some of their really good friends that they still have today, including like my 18-year-old, one of his best friends, they got to know each other when they took science together when they were younger. And so you don't have to do it alone. You also can find other older homeschoolers in your area and find out what resources they used. Find a social and homeschooling outlet. You can join my monthly hangouts that are free once a month to talk about homeschooling, but also just to decompress and have other people in your life who know where you're at. And that's kind of the nice thing. I know my homeschool support group sometimes has like mom's nights outs and things like that. It's just nice to be around people who don't go, well, of course you're stressed. Why don't you just put your kids in school? And they don't look at you like, you're crazy for keeping your kids home. So, don't isolate. All that to say, don't isolate yourself. The other thing is be flexible. You are not doing school at home. Especially if you are a private homeschooler in California, you're not bound to their specific type of work and their specific type of attendance and how much time they have to spend in a chair. You have the flexibility to do what works for your kids, and that goes in every area. My daughter, who was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult as soon as she entered college, that kid didn't sit in a chair to read. She liked to all kinds of weird things. Hang upside down, lay on the couch, be a pretzel. And she got her stuff done, so I didn't care. Some kids do really well with writing, and some kids don't. My kids all did better with typing than with writing. The method of homeschooling, the method of housekeeping, the method of how you run your life is flexible to you. Don't feel bound to do everything how everyone else does. And if that's the curriculum that all your friends love and it just doesn't work for your kid, who cares? You don't need to fit in, and you don't need to do it by someone else's metric. If your kid likes a subject, my kids, in order to get them to write, they liked history, and basically I'd say, read whatever you want in these areas and just write me something. So that got them writing, which was a struggle for them. So you can just be flexible. And the last thing is to celebrate milestones. This is so important. I feel like we, as a society, overblow some things and underblow others. And what I mean by that is, I don't believe that every birthday is the most important day of a kid's life. And, you need to have a week or a month of birthday celebrations. That's ridiculous. But also, you know what? You did a great job on that essay. Good for you. Let's go do something. Let's go celebrate that. Let's go take a break. Let's go watch a movie. Whatever that is that's appropriate for you. We can celebrate those little milestones. I know for me, one of the things I really try to celebrate with my kids is not so much when they did the easy stuff, but when they did the hard stuff, which means in my house, we had certain rewards for finishing math books and finishing curriculum books. Don't get me wrong. But when it came to math for most of my kids, it was really easy for them to just blow through it. But my daughter, who's the one with ADHD, also had dysgraphia. So if she worked really hard at writing out a bunch of questions and really put in the effort more than just got the achievement, I would reward that more than her finishing a math book, because it was harder for her. She had to figure out how to be faithful and diligent and do the hard thing. So remember to celebrate those little milestones. And that doesn't mean you need to buy them something. That doesn't mean anything specific, but it's about being intentional and giving them a pat on the back and giving yourself a pat on the back. Wow, we got through that curriculum. My kids all did Algebra 2 curriculum before they went to college math. And when they all got through it, I'll be honest, it was a pretty big deal for my husband and I too, because that was a 2-year math thing for them. And it set them up phenomenally for college, but it was hard for us. It was so hard for us. And so celebrate those milestones as a family and give them a pat on the back. But those are my 5 tips. Schedules and routines, prioritizing your self-care a little bit, because that's easy. And the reason I say prioritize, it's easy to not consider it at all. Don't try to do it alone. Be flexible and celebrate milestones. What other tips do you have that you would like to share with other homeschoolers? I'd love to collect them and make a video of just viewer tips. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.